house! Astra, this is Celine. I survived the... Can you hear me? I'm in my ship. Suit status operational and... I've already experienced this before.
What you just saw there was a slightly edited version of the start of the game, and the reason that I showed it is because that is what got me into this game. That was my first instance of noticing this game's genius. But before I get too ahead of myself, I feel like it's important to explain what a rogue-lite type of game is, because it's sort of new. So a roguelike is essentially a game that involves a lot of procedural generation or a lot of randomness to each run, and that is something that you learn rather fast in Returnal, because upon your first death, when you leave the starting area, it's completely different.
The environment wasn't like this before.
What? Holy shit, that's so cool.
With each death, you lose all of your items, all of your weapons, the world changes, and you're back to the beginning of the game. But the one thing that you maintain between your runs are your Metroidvania-styled unlocks, making this into more of a rogue-lite experience rather than a rogue-like experience, because you don't truly lose everything upon death, whereas you do in a rogue-like. It gets very annoying trying to pick out these words when talking about these types of games. So with Returnal's near permadeath, the random item and weapon drops, along with this extremely impressive and robust level template system that I will be getting into in about a minute and 20 seconds. With all those different things that come with this genre of game, it allows for some extreme replayability. Basically, the roguelike and light genres is just gambling, but gamified, with weapons and abilities to make your run better. But in the same vein, you run the risk of getting a worse item, but then it kicks in the other direction with possibly having a better drop, making it so you will always be chasing and wanting it. And that is the main premise of roguelikes. It's risk reward. I can risk spending money to get something better, or I'll get something that's not even worth it. But you need to do the risk to stand a better chance of making it further in the game, because if you don't risk it, you'll just die because your stuff isn't good enough, or you aren't good enough. Returnal allows you to beat the game with the base weapon if you truly wanted to, if you're good enough. But if you're not, and you're a gubb like me, you have to risk it to stand a chance of winning.
Could you get off my car?
Almost all roguelikes are built around this same hook, so why do I think Returnal is genius and separate from these other games? Well, it's actually because of a lot of different things, but it's been about a minute and 20 seconds, so I'm going to talk about... Returnal is one of the slickest games that I've ever played on many different fronts, but the one that stands out to me the most is the level design. All of the different biomes, all of the different arenas just connect and flow so nicely together to the point that you forget that this is a roguelike, and all of these rooms are switched around and snapped together with the chance to not see a certain layout or completely miss a section of the map, and then to have it all function and work and thrive in a gameplay setting has just blown me away. I love the combat of this game. It feels like a mix of Doom, Risk of Rain 2, and even Dark Souls at times. Not because of the difficulty, but because of you being forced to constantly dodge out of the way of enemies' attacks, because if you don't, it only takes a few to kill you. But it's not just the dodging that reminds me of Dark Souls 1, it's the early game feel that I had playing that game. Trying to push into Undeadburg in Dark Souls 1 is one of the most, I don't even know, difficult learning experiences I've had in a video game. I've never had a game just kick me to the ground and then it just keeps doing it. And then after the game's done doing it, it spits on you. and then you decide it's time to go get your souls back. But there is no getting your stuff back in Returnal. There's just dying and keeping the knowledge that you learned previously and putting it into action in this ever-changing world. The early game can be so rage-inducing, but once you get past it, you're in for one of the most unique gaming experiences out there. And honestly, what kept me going through all that rage was this map that felt fresh no matter how many times I died and came back. And it left me hungry. I wanted to see what this game had to offer, so I got better at this games. I can think of several games that you are set up as the boss. You are the hunter. Everyone else is just your target. In Returnal, you are not. You're the little defenseless rabbit whose best defense mechanism is running away. But unlike these other creatures, you can get stronger as you go, and you have to, because this world is relentless. These enemies are relentless. A lot of them can kill you in at least 3 hits. There is no automatic health regeneration in Returnal. If you want to heal, you have to go out and find something, making it so just one of those 3 hits hurts so much more, because being able to heal is not a guarantee, truly forcing you to become a rabbit, attacking when you can and running away when you absolutely have to. And if you think you'll just leave the combat zone, a lot of these rooms lock when you go in there, so there's no escape. So that room will either be your grave or your triumph. Or you just have rooms that are an optional torture chamber.
What the hell is this death trap?
But you also have to remember that that optional room could possibly have something that will make your run so much better.
I'm just a moth to a flame!
The mystery of what's on that other side of that door is so alluring. That doorway can be the reason that you beat this game, or the reason you're back at the start. Every doorway is a choice. Every combat situation is a choice. Every way you spend your money is a choice that can affect you and your game. Not just with the items that you spend it on, but you just trying to pick up the money is putting your life at risk. Whenever you take down an enemy, they always drop these little yellow orbs called obolites. That's the currency of this game, but they don't stay on the ground forever, so it can change how you go about a combat situation, whether you want to run over and try and get them, or just let them go and save your life. Walking around in this game, you always have 2 different paths laid before you, the safe one and the dangerous one. If you got a lot of health, why not try the dangerous room? Because in almost every situation, it's worth it. But with all these different optional rooms, optional items, there's one guarantee at the end of each section, and that's this game's bosses. There are 5 bosses in the base game of Returnal. 2 of them are now in my top 10 bosses of all time. That's how good they are. Every single one of these boss fights requires your full attention, whether it's with the arena changing and crumbling around you, or the boss itself changing its moveset. Every single one of these bosses have 3 stages to them, each one more difficult than the last. But it's not just the boss battles themselves that are extremely memorable, it's the walk to them. The lead into Hyperion has such a sense of malice to it. When I was scaling my way up this massive tower, it gave me flashbacks of Ocarina of Time and making my way up to Ganon's throne room. The music growing in both situations as you make your way to the top. The boss battle is so good, I feel like it's a disservice for me to show any gameplay I don't want to detract from anyone who wants to experience it, but one interesting thing that I'll say about this boss battle is that that song was somehow taken from Celine's memories.
I sat at the piano, and for once, I felt. The music is calling me now. How do I stop this? I don't want to become that woman who speaks madness with my voice.
The story of this game gets so twisted at times, so I figure it's time to talk about it. Returnal's story is one of the aspects of this game that I did not think I would become invested in. Boy, was I wrong. And a big reason for that is for Celine and her voice actor Jane Perry.
This was taken after I left. Why?
She did such a good job in conveying all the pain and confusion that Celine is going through being trapped on this planet. Throughout this game, you just see her mentally just get worn down, whether it's from seeing corpses of herself everywhere, or hearing these audio recordings from different versions of herself, just mentally losing it.
I can smell my corpses rotting. Some are watching me from high above, others from pits. They refuse to speak with me except to say, "You are severing. What have I become?"
And that's not even to mention that somehow there's a materialization of her childhood home here.
That can't be here.
And at different times throughout this game, you can go into this house and experience just some of the most mind-trippiest things I've ever seen. The game even breaks the fourth wall at one point. I don't think I'll ever forget about that moment. There seriously needs to be more games like Returnal. This game needs to be talked about more. But there are also just little details that I love, like your map and inventory are all on display on Celine's wrist. So when you open your map, she looks at it in-game. When you're in the swampy environment, the rain droplets fall on the screen and then stream down it. You get absolutely covered in mud running through that swamp. This story and this game throws 3 curveballs at you that you will not expect. It has a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat at every twist and turn. Returnal is genius because it has an expansive world that always changes, paired with some of the most frantic and unique music I've ever listened to. And it matches the setting of this game to a T, with combat that stands toe-to-toe with the best of them. Housemark truly made something special here, with their ambitious game design that challenges industry norms in several different ways. Returnal just got that dog in them. It's the most unique game that Sony has released in forever. It utilizes the PS5 to its fullest potential, more than any game I've played on there. I know the start to this game can be a little bit rough, but man, it's worth it. Because believe it or not, I think Returnal's genius.